My research shows that financial markets are powerful drivers of corporate behavior. They shape how firms allocate capital, manage risk, and respond to environmental challenges. Over the last decade, we have seen how climate finance has reshaped corporate incentives. Yet, biodiversity, the other half of our planet's sustainability challenge, hasn't received the same attention. Through my earlier research in climate finance and the global momentum around the 2022 Kunming-Montreal Biodiversity Agreement, I started to wonder, do biodiversity risks influence corporate policies and valuation? That question set me on a path to study how investors and firms respond to biodiversity exposure and nature-related financial risks. Absolutely. I truly believe the two can go hand in hand. Economic growth that ignores nature's limits is not sustainable in the long run. However, if we direct our investments toward biodiversity-friendly innovations such as nature-based solutions, green infrastructure, or circular business models, then economic growth can actually support conservation instead of harming it. The key is to create incentives. When protecting nature also makes good business sense, that is, when we start seeing real and lasting change, ultimately it's not about choosing between the economy and the environment. It's about making sure they thrive together. After all, there's no planet B to fall back on. It's an excellent question. Honestly, what I find most rewarding in the sense that I can truly make a difference. As both a researcher and an educator, I care deeply about the environment, and for the first time, I feel that my work connects finance with issues that matter for our planet. In the classroom, I always bring current issues like climate change and biodiversity loss to life. I want to help my students understand that finance isn't just about numbers. It is about shaping decisions that impact ecosystems, communities, and the future economy. If I can inspire even a few students to realize that finance can be a force for good, that is incredibly meaningful to me. On the research side, I hope my findings can help inform policymakers and guide firms and investors to make decisions that better account for nature-related risks and opportunities. For example, one of my former MBA students, a First Nations person, recently shared how what he learned in class helping advise Indigenous communities on impact investments. Stories like that really remind me why this work matters, as they show that knowledge can ripple outward and have a real impact. I think academics play a really important bridging role. We translate complex scientific and environmental concepts into practical ideas that businesses, investors, and policymakers can apply. Through our research, we show that biodiversity loss affects firm value and risk. Through teaching, we prepare students to carry those ideas into real-world decision-making. In this way, academics acts as a connector, turning knowledge into action. The loss of biodiversity isn't just an environmental issue, it's also an economic one. It affects how firms are valued, their regulatory pressure, investor pressure, and even their reputation. And as new frameworks like the task force on nature-related financial disclosures gain traction, understanding these risks is quickly becoming part of mainstream finance. For business schools and finance students, this means something very practical: learning how to price nature-related risks, assess biodiversity impacts, and identify investment opportunities that deliver both financial returns and ecological resilience. Put simply, knowing how financial decisions affect and depend on nature will be an essential skill for future finance leaders.